Great. Let's see. Let's go to Christy in Florida. You want to talk about older relatives and whether it makes sense to try to convert them or to talk to them about atheism. Is that right?
That is right. Yeah. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for what you do. I love the Atheist Experience, and if it wasn't for your show, I probably wouldn't be an atheist today.
Wow.
So I'm really happy to be talking to you guys. But my issue is I come from a religious family. They're all Southern Baptist, and we all share different views, or I share different views with them. And over the past few years, I've really been trying to get them to question the things they believe because they kind of grew up never really doing that and just going based off of what they were told. And so I've been trying to kind of, throw little seeds in, kind of like, the seeds of doubt that you talked about in the last call. And it's probably about a couple of weeks ago, I had this kind of thought or realization that maybe doing that with people like my grandmother, who is older, she's in her 70s, it might not be such a good idea. I desperately want to be able to have a genuine relationship with her and, not some fake relationship where she, thinks I'm going to hell at the end of my life. And I'd love for us to be able to have that. But at the same time, I almost think that with her having lived this way for so long and spent so much of her life as a Christian, I almost think it would be nearly detrimental to her to find out if, she did decide that she was wrong this whole time. If I were in her position, I almost would rather stay blind for the last few years of my life.
let me try to understand a little bit better. Are you out to this person? Have you told her?
I am. Okay. Yes, I'm a very out atheist. I have been for about 10 years.
So this is not a question of you having a relationship with her as an atheist, but more of a question of whether you think that you should sort of advocate for your views with her in her last stages of her life. Is that what I'm...
Right, because on the off, she's very stubborn. She's stuck in her ways. It's, highly unlikely that she'll ever decide, that she doesn't believe in God. But, I did, and I didn't think I ever would. And so it is possible. People do it every day. And, in the off chance that she did actually start questioning her beliefs and did, find out, that God doesn't exist, like I did, it was very detrimental, and it was almost a traumatic experience for me. And it's not an easy thing to go through, to lose your religion and to lose the God that you thought you had a relationship with. And in her older years, I almost think it would be better for her to just stay comfortable in her beliefs than have to uproot everything she's ever.
Well, and you may be thinking you're more powerful than you are.
Probably.
So, well, I'm having a very, very similar experience to you now. And I don't, it won't work on my grandma. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The more I talk to her about this, she'll tell me the further you're going up the sewer tank, she'll say outright offensive things to me, and I'll say something outright offensive right back. And it's like, we don't talk about it anymore. But if we do, I tell her exactly what I think, and she tells me exactly what she thinks, and we're like, yep.
Okay.
That's it. And then we change the subject. Yeah. I personally wouldn't waste time on also having experienced with family gatherings. You say that it's the majority of your family, right?
Yeah.
It's the majority of my family as well. And so if I'm thinking like Thanksgiving's coming up in a couple months, and I'm like, do I even want to go? I'm a brand new atheist. I haven't been for 10 years, but not even 1 year. When I think about wanting to make people question and represent myself in that way, that's not going to work, because I would be, a lamb in a lion's pit, because the more that I'm this opposing force to them, that's the one thing that's different, and the more that I say something that sounds off to them, the more they'll cluster together and gang up on me. And that's my experience with that kind of a family dynamic. So I just don't talk about it with them. I think that I would have more progress one-on-one, and just those casual, well, what do you think about this? And not a forced, I'm going to seek you out and grill you down and try to make you question. It's, hey, let's have lunch and talk about something that's not related to religion for a while. And then later on, when it comes up and you want to know what I think about it, let's talk. But if your goal is to go in there and make people question, I think that people will sense your agenda, your intention. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely right. It's difficult, when you have family members that you love and you want, a relationship with. It's not easy to have a relationship with someone who, thinks you're going to go to hell and thinks you're living a life of sin and living for Satan. It sucks, and it makes you, a big part of me wants to just go in and deconvert her, and I wish I could. And
I know.
Well, it sounds to me like you're
Grandma.
you're kind of in an enviable position in the sense that it sounds like you're fairly secure in where you are and you've got your boundaries. A lot of callers that we get that are dealing with family issues, that families just trampling all over them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like that's the case. It may just be agree to disagree and focus on the things that you have in common, and enjoy your last years with your aging relatives that way.
Yeah, she's made it this far.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a really good point. I think that's a very good point.
All right.
Cool. Thanks for calling.
Well, thank you for calling. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.